What's up, 15, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I do apologize, I haven't been able to get more videos out at the moment. It has been quite a hectic time with gyms reopening and all the rest of it, as I'm sure everyone can appreciate as well. Having said that, this video is actually for people who are getting back into the gym or into a training routine, because I think it's really important that you do it properly as to avoid any risk to yourself and also to make sure you are getting the biggest benefit from it. So if you're watching this video and you want to get back into a heavy training volume, or you want to get back into a increased training load as well, or maybe you just started, I really want you to listen carefully to a few things which I've noticed, and a few things which I will give. And I say this to people when they come back from holidays as well, not just from basically any extended leave when you're coming back into it. So firstly is that everyone's coming with this high energy and this increased importance on their health and fitness. This is great. Ride that wave as best as you can, but it's important to do so in the right way as to not do any damage to your body, and also to create something while you're in this different mindset, which is sustainable over a longer period of time. So a good saying with this one is motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. What you want to do during this period is quite a rare time with obviously gym closures and all the rest of it. Make sure you put something in place which is sustainable, and that's what's going to get you longer term results as opposed to short term bursts. It's much more powerful to build something as a habit, which you do subconsciously, as opposed to something you really have to force yourself to do. So keep in mind, the important thing you want to do here is build habits. Secondly, and this is important for people that were training hard beforehand and maybe just coming back into doing weights, focus on your muscle memory. Do not try to go back into the gym and really try to hit it super hard, or try to do a PB on the bench press or anything like that. Try just to train and try to at the 60-70%. I know it's gonna feel like you're bludgeoning, particularly in those first few weeks, but what happens is your muscle memory is gonna start to take over. Your gains in those first few weeks are gonna be very different to what you had beforehand, particularly if you're a well-oiled machine. In other words, you train quite a lot and you're just working those incremental gains. Training a full range of motion, getting right down to the depth, time on tension is going to trump trying to go really heavy in those first few weeks as well. And you'll notice a big increase in strength over the next couple of weeks, which you're not going to get normally with the training program, particularly if you're someone who maybe hasn't done too much or any weights over the past few months. My third tip is progressive overload. Now, by nature, this is progressively overloading incremental changes to your training. It doesn't mean you need to come in and really hit it hard. When you are training a lot over a vast period of time, you only need to make small changes in order to actually see results for this one. What this means is that you don't need to come in and make this massive quantum leap into creating huge changes within your body. Come back in, work at that 60-70% full range of motion. You'll get those kind of beginner gains at the start of it, then start to make incremental changes. Plus, it's gonna be much better for your body to do it this way as well. Focus on your recovery after each of the different sessions. Make sure you're coming in fresh, or as fresh as you can, every single time, but progressively overload. And by nature, it means you don't need to smash this in the first month, week, day. You can spend a little bit of time to build into it. It's not a race for this one as well. It's a long period of time. It's going to be a big 6 months coming up at the back end of 2020. So just make sure you have everything in place that you need to make it work over the longer term. My fourth point is make sure you avoid injuries at all costs. No matter what your fitness goals are, if you come out way too hard, you try to get too heavy or too quick, in the first couple of weeks, you are at a much higher risk of injuring yourself as well. So what we want to do is try to avoid this. How do you do it? Firstly, you come in and make sure you're working at that 60-70%. It is going to feel a little bit funny. I would much rather people train at a higher volume, in other words, more times throughout the week at a lower intensity. You need to dial down that intensity just a little bit during that first phase as well. So the reason I like that is because you get back into your routine. So let's say you train 4 times a week. You train you 4 times a week throughout your first or second week. Lower intensity, that's going to take a little bit of that load off and work at that 60-70%, and then you can start to ramp it up a little bit as well. Now, if you go too hard, you are going to injure yourself. Injuries are the biggest setback you can do. It's going to put you back weeks, which you definitely don't want to do within your training as well. The other one is important to recover more so now than ever and increase your flexibility by doing more stretches afterwards and in between sets as well, to ensure your body is getting that adaptation and that flexibility that it needs. Now, my fifth point is for those that if you're watching this and you're really keen to gun it and absolutely start smashing it really quickly, but you're hearing 60-70% and it doesn't float your boat, focus 100% on your nutrition from today, and you're training at 60-70%. Now, why do I say that? Nutrition probably has a bigger impact when it comes to body composition, yet it's normally the second thing people think of. People look at their training, which is great, but if you can do your training and nutrition together, that's where you're gonna get increased or exponential results. Now, when it comes to composition, it's your nutrition Plus, you don't need to ease into your nutrition. You can start to go 100% at your nutrition now while you're in this headspace of increased motivation, and slowly start to build up your training again to avoid injury, progressively overload, and do all the rest of it as well. So focus on your nutrition, build those habits up, and that's gonna get you amazing results, and then your training will start to build up over time as well. And this is a great opportunity to do it, particularly where you have that increased focus on your health and fitness. My last point on this topic is that it is not a race. Weight loss is not a race. Fitness is not a race unless you're obviously in competitions for it as well. You have a very long time to be able to achieve your results. You don't need to get it out of the gate really quickly. Spend a bit of time to do it. People underestimate how much they can achieve in a 6 to 12 month period, but want to do things in 6 to 8 week blocks. There's nothing wrong with having an increased intensity over that time. When I say intensity, I don't mean your training, I mean an increased focus. There's nothing wrong with doing that one because I think it builds really good habits, but it's got to be sustainable. And in fact, the longer time frame you give yourself, the better it's going to be for yourself as well. So if you can give yourself that 6 to 12 month window, you can slowly lose weight over time, progressively overload, increase or look at your nutrition in more detail and slowly change things, which is going to get you amazing results. So just remember, guys, it is not a race. I'm keen as well. Everyone's keen to get back into a heavy training program, but you just need to ease into it so that way you avoid any damage to yourself. And that's it for me today, guys. I just want to touch on that topic real quick because I think it's really important, particularly it's quite timely, especially in Australia, but I know around the world when gyms are reopening. Train safe, train smart, get into it. Utilize that increased focus by focusing on building habits and your nutrition at the start in particular, and progressively overload your training, and you guys will be totally fine as well. I think I'm loving this increased focus on training and nutrition at the moment. I think it's a really healthy thing for everyone. So if you guys are in a position where you are keen to get back into it, or you're just starting, now is a brilliant time to be able to start working on that as well. And of course, there's gonna be a lot of other people in the same boat as you guys too. Guys, if you love my content, we'd love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. More videos will be coming up, I promise. Now that I'm in a bit of a routine and we are open again as well. But other than that, guys, take care, happy training, and let's keep smashing it.